COULSON Lives. After an entire year of waiting for this, I've been waiting a year for this. The much anticipated TV show, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, is finally here. So how was it? First, a description. Now, fair warning, I'm going to talk about this episode with spoilers in it, so if you've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, then just stick around, or if you don't care for spoilers, but if you haven't, go see the episode and then come back, just because I'm going to spoil some stuff in the pilot. So without further ado, let's talk about the pilot, episode 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the new TV series from Marvel and Joss Whedon, who, after the Avengers, I've been basically obsessed over. It's set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, takes place after the Avengers, and focuses on the government organization S.H.I.E.L.D. that's been popping up in all these movies. As we all know, in the Avengers, Agent Phil Coulson, played by Clark Gregg, was killed by Loki. So, after a year of waiting, how did he survive? He didn't. He actually did die at the hands of Loki. It's just S.H.I.E.L.D. doctors are just that good. They brought him back to life, and he's just been chilling out in Tahiti until he made a full recovery. So no life model decoy, he really did die. But the episode also gives the impression that there's something about his death that Coulson doesn't know about, and neither does the audience know about. Something that Agent Maria Hill says that he can never know about. Soon after Coulson's explanation for living is taken care of, this hooded hero, played by J. Austin Richards, a Joss Whedon regular, is caught saving someone's life, and gets the attention of not only S.H.I.E.L.D, but the Rising Tide and this mysterious woman named Skye, who apparently seem to know more about S.H.I.E.L.D, and are eager to exploit them after the Battle of New York. Now, as I mentioned before, I've been waiting for this series for a long time. I never said these words, but my friends know that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is my absolute favorite film series. It's basically how some people view the Lord of the Rings trilogy or the Dark Knight trilogy. I absolutely love this series, and I think it's amazing that they decided to bring and expand the universe on TV. And S.H.I.E.L.D. is probably the best thing to start out with. I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. is already established. S.H.I.E.L.D. is well known to the mainstream public by now. So putting in S.H.I.E.L.D. was a great idea, especially getting Joss Whedon back to do this. Since before the Avengers, he's had great experience with TV shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Firefly. It's got a great sense of humor, blockbuster style special effects, because I know for Game of Thrones, HBO has dazzled us with special effects, but HBO basically had an unlimited budget, so I was like, alright, HBO's is impressive, but how is ABC gonna handle it? They don't disappoint. They're not as good as the Avengers, but damn good for TV. Very impressive. But what I love most about this show are the characters. It's only one episode so far, but already I've grown to love these characters. Agent Phil Coulson is obviously someone we already know from Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor, and the Avengers. It's great to see him back alive, and his usual Phil Coulson self. And Clark Gregg, once again, does a good job as Coulson. But we also have some new characters that are actually very interesting. We have Agent Melinda May, played by Ming-Na, who is someone that you could tell has had a lot of experience in the field. So much experience that we find her at a desk job, because she refuses to go back out in the field because of something that happened. It's never explained, and really, you can't really explain that much in an hour-long TV episode, so I'm sure it's going to pop up somewhere in the series, but as of now, I like the fact that she's reluctant to join Coulson's team, which she eventually does. I mean, she's very quiet, doesn't talk a lot, but when she's put out in the field, you can tell that she has a lot of fighting experience and is almost as skilled as Agent Romanoff, aka Black Widow. Next, there's Agent Grant Ward, played by Brett Dalton. He's a black ops who is very, very good at his job, but he has very, very bad people skills. This character does have a charm to him, but his social skills around people aren't very good despite that. And I gotta say, out of all the actors, when watching the previews, he was the one that I felt like, I don't know if he's taken this role very seriously, but then watching this episode, I was like, no, that's the character. He's just very serious. Not really too bright when it comes to people skills, but again, he's damn good at his job. So in the end, I ended up liking this guy. Next up is the science duo of the group, or just the main duo in general. Agent Leo Fitz, played by Ian de Castecker, I hope I pronounced his last name right, and Agent Jenna Simmons, played by Elizabeth Henstridge. Fitz is best with technology, and Simmons is best with biology. You really appreciate their knowledge as individuals, but the chemistry really shines when both of them are working together. Always talking scientific talk, always talking over each other. They really have great chemistry with each other, and out of the entire group, I'd say they're the funniest. Finally, there is Skye, played by Chloe Bennett. She's a member of the Rising Tide, or was a member of the Rising Tide at the start of the episode, and is an expert computer hacker. When watching her in the ads, and definitely in the show, she shares some aspects to Buffy Summers from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Very witty, always has a slime remark when talking to people, and she's all around a fun character. Despite being the youngest of the 6 cast members, she proves she's capable on her own, despite having no S.H.I.E.L.D. training whatsoever. So far, I love all these characters, each of them in their own interesting way. I love Agent May and Skye's mysterious background. I love Fitz and Simmons, again, because of their great chemistry, and whether they're working together or just arguing with each other, it's really fun to watch. Ward is awesome because of his extraordinary set of skills, again, despite his lack of people knowledge. And Coulson is the leader and the motivator of this team. And like the movies, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has nods to other events or future events that possibly could happen. For example, the hooded hero that J. Austin Richards plays is the connection to Iron Man 3, because they say that he is someone who's been injected with the extremis formula that Maya Hansen developed that, as we've seen in Iron Man 3, is unstable. And I should probably address the hooded hero by his actual name, Mike Peterson. But there's a little twist that happens with him involving the person he saved. And it's a nice conclusion to how Coulson's team handles this, and how S.H.I.E.L.D. itself handled the extremis situation, because I figured that there had to be more people that volunteered and got injected with this serum that weren't working for Aldrich Killian in Iron Man 3. So in the end, I really, really loved this first episode. It started a bit slow at first, but then it really picked up. I like the conclusion, I love the characters, I love the chemistry they all share, and yeah, I love this first episode so much that I'm going to come back next week and review every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I hope this series gets increasingly better over time. I can't wait to see how this connects to the other movies, past and future, but I hope it stands on its own. I think it has the capacity to stand on its own. The characters are interesting enough, and S.H.I.E.L.D. can do things on their own without having to rely on Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. So I'm excited how this is playing out. I can't wait for episode 2, and I'll be back next week with Mr. Robinson's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. report. So until then, leave a comment if you've seen the episode, subscribe to my channel for more reviews in the future, and check out my reviews for the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. Check out my other channel, AlexG8462, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, tell your friends about me, and remember, when it comes to movies and TV, know it before you see it. This is Mr. Robinson of The Cinemas with Mr. Robinson, and I will see you guys later.